So without giving away too much about your book then, Alandra, can you tell us a little bit about what the storyline is based on and the characters?
It's a fantasy book, and it's a wonderful tale about two people trying to find each other.
So there's always love involved then.
Oh yes.
Gets
oh, yes.
a man every time, right?
Oh yes. And I love the romance genre as much as I do the fantasy. So I couldn't write a fantasy without having mixed some of that in there. It's about Lord Tyrrell, who has been paired with someone since he was very young, and he's trying to find her. It's a wonderful book. It's got a lot about good and evil. Of course, there's always things that come in the way, and there's of course a much larger story involved. But the basic essence of it is these two characters that are trying to basically just come together, and there's all these things that come in the way to stop them.
Can you kind of give us a little thumbnail sketch how you came to the storyline and how you developed the whole concept of the book? How did that happen?
That's a very interesting story behind that. It happened one day when I was riding in an elevator. I was riding to the top of a skyscraper, and the elevator stopped, and in walked three gentlemen. They were the tallest men I've ever seen. They must have been each close to 7 feet tall. They were gorgeous, stunning looking, impeccably dressed. I've never seen...
Which country?
It was in Toronto, Canada.
In Toronto?
Yes, in Toronto, Canada.
Bay Street, maybe?
Yeah, it was on Bay Street.
Okay, yeah.
But they made such an impression on me. I remember, and they had this air of authority about them. They carried themselves with such sophistication, such self-assuredness that I immediately thought to myself, it's so unfair that these men are so perfect looking, you know. And as soon as I had that thought, all three turned around and smiled at me. It was as if they had known what I was thinking. And at that point, right away...
The telepathy?
Yes.
Okay.
At that point, right away, it came to me. I started building a world around these tall, telepathic individuals. And that world became known as the land of Chaldean, that's ruled by this superior race of Thoughtmovers.
Who would your favorite character be then?
I would say I basically have three characters in the book that I like, and those are the three main characters. One, of course, is Lord Tyrrell, the other one is Mistress Selena, and the third one is Lord Zacharias. He's the evil brother. But they all have very strong roles that they play, and each has taught me a lot on their journey throughout the book. Lord Tyrrell, he's a very charismatic, very ethical type of a person. He's a very altruistic being who has always the best for the people in mind. Selena, she of course has been tortured and abused as a child. She has a lot of emotional problems, but yet through all that, she's managed to still find and give a lot of love, which I admire her for that. And then you have Lord Zacharias, who's the evil brother, but yet, even though he's evil, you realize that he has reasons for doing the things he does. You may not necessarily agree with why he does them, but his reasons are strong, and he has a certain superiority as well that intrigues me.
Alandra, you've mentioned that some of the characters are based on actual people you've met in your real life. Now, what about some of the scenes, the places that you talk about in your book? Is that based on any of your personal experiences?
Of course, the place in general where the book takes place is an imaginary place, but the actual landscapes in that are actually taken from places I have personally visited and experienced in my life. Either places where I've lived or places that I've traveled to. The caves, for example. I went to caves in the Dominican Republic, And I was so fascinated by these caves that it became as a part of a setting of the book. Same with the actual country where the book takes place. It was a place that I had lived for a short period of time in British Columbia, a place called Osoyoos. And it's a very desert-like climate there, which also was a new experience for me. Most of Canada is not desert, but this is probably the closest you'd come to a desert-like area. It made an impact on me.
So you've actually put a huge part of your own personal life into the entire series then.
Well, yeah, all my stories are basically created by people that cross my path, or settings that I've been in, or events that have happened in my life. And I use those and then just fill in what needs to be filled in. So yes, they're all basically personal experiences of mine in some form or another.